Hey, what's happening, folks? Aronmsound here at the Michelberger. Is that correct?
Hotel Michelberger.
At the hotel. I'm sorry. I know it's terrible. This is G. G is a bartender here at the Michelberger. I had the pleasure of meeting him, and say hi to the folks out there at home.
Hello with my gimp hand.
Yeah, and the gimp hand is actually kind of the focus of our questioning today. And as most of you at home know, that I don't actually normally do a Q&A, but this is a rare moment. Tell us how you got that, actually, G.
About a little less than a month ago, I was hit by a car coming from work, but I was coming from another place. And yeah, so I was just propelled 6 meters, which would be 20 feet in English.
Yeah.
So I was on one side of the street and ended up on the other side of the street in the crosswalk, flying through the air, and landed on my head.
Wow. And when the ambulance came, what kind of condition were you in?
I was, I mean, how I am now, like you see me bartending and hey, that's how I was. I mean, I didn't know that I was unconscious for 10 minutes. And then when I came to, I had no idea why everyone was reacting to me the way I was, but my head was split open here, down to the skull, and I split my ear open, contusion here, bruises under my chin from the handlebars. And it was actually an accident. It wasn't like I did anything wrong or the driver did anything wrong, because I didn't have reflectors on the back tire, wasn't wearing a helmet, which nobody in Europe wears helmets. Which now my friends say I have to wear a helmet because they don't want to lose me. And
which, by the way, at least you got a fancy selection of helmets over here. I've seen some.
It's true. Right?
It's really dope.
Really cool ones that are just frames, and you can have hats put on them. They're really, it's amazing.
I hadn't heard about that shit at all.
Yeah, it's a really great design concept. So you buy the frame, and the hat fits over it, so you can get a ball cap, a horse riding cap. I'm gonna get a fedora.
Hell yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Because everyone doesn't want to look like a geek when they're wearing a helmet on their bicycle.
You got a huge
I used to make fun of people. I was like, oh, he has to wear a helmet because he gets in accidents.
Well, you know.
But no, it was just random. But the thing that was really that plagued music, because I didn't remember the accident at all, because my back tire got tapped. So something in your body was, you check out and you go flying, and I don't know, something flying through the air or something, I checked out. But I had this overwhelming sense of happiness, or what I remembered, that in my mind it started to rain, and that's how I justified the accident, because obviously if it was raining, he didn't see me and I didn't see him. And I Facebooked about that and told people, you know, that at least if I had died, because I didn't remember anything for 10 minutes, I was unconscious. That at the last moment, last thing was that I was completely happy with my life, and I've had a great life. But then a friend of mine emailed me and didn't know about my accident and said that I had a walk-in leave my body, and I had been struck by lightning when I was 7. And I also,
yeah, you told me about this. Now we got to go back now. When you had been struck by lightning when you're 7. Describe that situation. How did that go down?
Well, I hate fishing now. I used to love fishing. But we were fishing in Florida, and it was my parents and the new and we were fishing on this pier. And in Florida, these piers go out for a mile. I don't know if you've been to Miami or to Florida. So they have these long piers. It's the same in Virginia. And then they have these kind of bulkhead kind of things. So there's long piers, and it's where you could fish, and you're kind of way out in the ocean, so to speak, at least not a mile, but pretty far out. And they always have these signs: if you see inclement weather, get inside because lightning will strike the pier. And so my mom is a big fisher person. This newlywed girl was a big fishing person, and my dad and they're like, okay, we're gonna pack up the gear. And I had this fishing net that you wrap up in a can, and it started to rain, and the lightning struck the pier, and just at the moment that the lightning struck the pier, she was taking the can from me. And my mom's version was that she was a patient, and my version was that she saved my life. But the lightning went through my feet, through my hands, through the can, into her, and she died from that. And so my friend's email, and I kind of lived with that for a long time, thinking that, I also had you don't know this, but my brother passed away shortly before that too.
Man, I'm sorry.
And yeah, and he was little. I mean, I was the older brother, but so you couple that, and then someone basically either through impatience or sacrificing their life for your life as a kid. And she had a 2-year-old daughter, which we knew. She died basically. And so when my friend emailed me, and she didn't know about my accident, that I had what she called a walk-in, and that took something left my body, and you feel different. You know, and it just resonated with me because it really bothered me that I couldn't remember the accident. But at the same time, the last memory I had before the accident was happiness and raining. And then when I talked to my partner about this, because it was really bothering me, and he was kind of a little bit not happy that I just went right back to work. I mean, I had stitches like this up here at the bar, and I had my arm wrapped up, and they just put a cast on it because it was actually broken. They thought it was mine. I had stitches in my ear and big mark here, and I was like, hey, bartending, yeah, that's fine. And I'm at my day job doing marketing and stuff, and they're like, and I'm sure they're looking like, what the fuck is he doing here? You know, you should be home sleeping. But then it took a couple of weeks, and then I just said, you know, it's weird to me that the last thought I had before the accident, I was really happy. Why would I be thinking about my life? I'm living my life. I'm always kind of actually a happy person. I'm very fortunate. And I said, I think maybe in that 10 minutes that I was unconscious, lying on the ground, maybe it wasn't raining when I got hit by the car. It was that because I woke up, I actually was physically soaked. I was completely drenched by rain. But it was actually, and then I said, I think I died. And then he just nodded his head, and then I just completely had to release at that moment. I was like, fuck, I died. And he said, that's why they kept you in the hospital for so long. They were waiting for you to have a stroke, or for your brain to swell, and all this.
And how long were you in the hospital?
Almost 4 days.
Wow.
But I mean, once I was up. They came in like 6 hours later and said, you're not allowed to get out of bed, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. And the guy next to me, and I had my best Deutsche course ever because I was in a German hospital, so the German's got much better since the hospital. And also when I came out on the ground, I was speaking German, which was weird because you would think I would speak English first, but I knew that I was in German.
No,
That's probably the only
the audience doesn't know. Where are you from originally?
I'm from New York, or I'm from the States.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually from California.
And how long have you been out here?
2.5 years.
Wow.
So yeah, struggling.
So you came out of
unconsciousness and speaking German, but they spoke to me in German first, so of course I would speak to them in German. Yeah, and I got a cold in the hospital.
Oh
That's the
wow.
other thing I got.
But what were you saying about your bruises though?
Oh, that was the thing that was really interesting to the doctors, is that within a day, I had been hit by the handlebars on my throat here. They were gone within 24 hours. I'm sorry. I had a huge contusion here. My jaw was the size of a grapefruit. I'm sorry, within 2 days, it was gone. I just had this like rug burn on my face. The stitches within a week, they took out. You can't even see where my ear was split open. I just have a piece missing here inside.
Wow.
A chunk of my ear. And now I have a really cool scar from hitting the pavement. But they were really amazed at how fast I healed. And that I didn't have a seizure, my brain didn't swell, I didn't have an aneurysm. And they were waiting for days for me to have this, and it never happened. And I have to say, when my friends emailed, the reason why it was really so impactful for me is that it wasn't that I had this overwhelming sense of happiness before the accident. It was that this overwhelming sense of happiness is what brought me out of this state. This is also when I was struck by lightning, I left my body. And it was because my mom was already lost my brother, and this is why I had said to my mom, I came back because I couldn't have her suffer and losing two sons. But this bookend period of 25 years, let's say, this is like now my time, so to speak. And my friend even in her email said, you've really worked hard in your life, you've done so many amazing things, but you always work really hard at it. And now it's going to get easier because whatever needed to be processed at that time is done.
Wow.
and now it's your time.
So you think that near-death experience, or that partial death experience, was the bookend?
Yeah, in a way, because I dealt with this before at one time when I was 20, because I thought, why me? You know, I saw the movie Fearless, and I was in my 20s, and it just took me right back to the experience of being struck by lightning. Why did I survive and this person die? And I felt that I cheated death, you know. And I had a brother that passed away a few years before that. Not that I was meant to die and he wasn't, but, you know, it's like if death is following you and you keep cheating death.
Yeah, now, when you say you keep cheating death, you have another experience with death,
when I was 17 also. I had something when I got stabbed by a seafood knife and got ketone poisoning, slipped into a coma and came out of that as well. And I mean, I'm 42 now, and as an actor, I was in television playing teenagers for a living until I was 31, and I'm still not looking my age even.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, even in the hospital, they didn't know how old I was. They thought I was a kid.
So do you think this is part genetic luck of having resilience, or do you think this is part of something?
My 33-year-old brother looks older than I do, and I think we were talking about this at the bar with Kevin. It's like you really make a choice to do what it is that you really want to do and be where you want to be when you want to be, and that really does make a difference in your life. I'm exactly where I envision myself. I envision myself living in Europe, and I needed to do this. And I don't necessarily have a desire to live in the States, but I know it's part of who I am. And I think over the next 3 years, I will be back on television again, but I will have had myself. But I needed to leave.
Well, it's a fantastic story, man, and I really appreciate you sharing.
That was my pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really awesome, man. I mean, it's inspiring, and I know it's going to inspire other people for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's still weird. Because, I mean, that's what really creeped out my partner. Is that they, I guess, told him that I died. But, of course...
Well, and you know the Germans, I mean, the Germans are pretty serious about that shit.
Yeah. and he was joking, he said, well, you know, he's not going to tell you that he's an alien, so... Because they were really, I mean, I think they were looking for metal. I mean, they asked me if I had metal.
Really?
Yeah. I was asked all these questions. Do you have any metal in your head? Blah, blah,
Because of the way that you survived the crash.
Yeah. And then even the cops were like, well, he's talking, so obviously he's okay, and he's making jokes, and he's really funny. German police officers laugh. I was also like fucking with him a little bit with the breathalyzer. I was going, I didn't want to do it.
That's amazing, man. Dude, thank you, G.
Thank you.
No problem. What's your whole name, just so I can make sure that...
G. Baudet.
G.
My
Baudet.
Native American name is Greg Eagle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you, G. Great Eagle Baudet.
Yeah.
Peace. I think superheroes. What about you? Anyway, subscribe up there, right down there. Stick around, folks. I'm going back to Amsterdam tomorrow, so hope you're having a great day. Thank you, G. Baudet, for your incredible story.